Good afternoon. I am late today, but we ended up forgetting our eldest's lunchbox at school. So Dallas had to he forgot to pick it up on the way home for gymnastics with the youngest, and so it was just a messy morning. So he went back out to get it, and now we're here. We're going to finish off the zippers for the small box bags. Last night I did get through all of the ironing, and I got the black top stitching done for everything except these ones that haven't had their zippers sewn in. I'm realizing I only have 3 zippers here, so I don't know what's up with that because there's 4 bags here. Interesting. That means that I do probably need one extra black zipper. Let's see if I've got one cut. These ones are long enough that we'll use it. I think I can make that work. Sweet. Okay. It's a little bit short, but I can make it work. Anyway, so we're going to go in and we're going to install the zippers in all of these bags, and then we will iron them and top stitch them again, and then we go into the top stitching for the white top stitching, and then it's end seams, and then it's boxing the edges. It is 20 after 1 right now. Dallas is heading out this evening for a visit with friends, so I gotta wrap up around 4 o'clock. That'll be the deadline, and we'll see what I can get done tonight. And if the kids aren't absolutely losing their minds, then I will come on or I'll come downstairs and I'll work after dinner, but I'm not going to depend on that because typically they lose their minds after dinner, so oh boy. Alright, let's get this in. I'm really tempted to not do the rest of these, but at the same time I really want those hedgehog bags because I know hedgies are typically very popular, and this sakura is too pretty to turn down with it's a really nice winter sakura print. So we'll just head down and see if we can do it. After this, we'll have to split the bags into white and black pull tabs, and consistently wonder why the heck my phone is dropping signal. It is still on. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. It's back. All right. What is going on here? I do have a coffee. I've already got my snack, so it's realistically I am just going to sit here and sew until I am summoned back upstairs. Put the stitch length down. So you may wonder, Katie, why did you only have a week to prep for Airdrie? And that would be because I was away until Saturday. Got home Saturday night, really late. Basically was Sunday. And we didn't end up getting rolling into the house until about 1:30, 2 o'clock or something nuts like that. So that was fun. Our flight was delayed by an hour in Florida. They made up quite a bit of the time actually in air, but then the gate was frozen and we had to wait for a gate, and or the jet bridge was frozen. That's what it was. Had to wait for a gate to even pull up to, and it was really cold in Calgary, so everything was breaking down. I feel really bad for all of the WestJet employees because they have to deal with everyone being angry, and also all the people who miss their connections, because that really sucks. And there's always a lot of kids on that flight too, so it's just oh, that would have really been bad. So actually we are going to drop one of these bags. We're going to drop the floral, lighter floral, because yeah, this zipper is not long enough, but we'll finish up this sakura and we'll finish up the hedgies. Yeah, I feel better about that. I just don't want to have to cut another zipper right now. I don't know where it would have gone. It's weird, but oh well. Okay, so that does need a press. So I'll finish these 2 hedgehog bags, give them a press, and then we'll do the top stitching, and then we'll switch to white top stitching. At least with the top stitching, it's a really nice just head down, get it done sort of thing. Very like meditative quality. I did actually go to spin this morning. It was one of the tough teachers. My goodness, she is always super tough. It was like my first time back since the races, and my body is like, what are we doing? I thought we were having a break from this, and it's like, no, we got to get back on it, because I don't want to lose too much muscle mass or like endurance either, although I shouldn't have in the last week. But I am tired. There. That's mostly just because it's like, I think we've also been hit with a really bad case of jet lag this trip. Kids are definitely suffering from, like, the re-entry has just been rough for all 4 of us, so that's okay. We'll recover. Been kind of nice because the kids have been going to bed fairly early, although we did sleep in today, so I don't know how that's going to affect bedtime tonight. But our youngest is definitely like on the verge of needing a nap, which is unusual still for them. I mentioned this yesterday. They don't typically nap in the afternoon anymore, but like the last couple days they've just needed it. So a nap they get, and that's fine. Speaking of naps, I should have some coffee. Hedgies. Go. Yeah, and then next week I will restart my training. I'm figuring out that I need to really train in like zone 2 for the next little bit, which is going to be tough. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do, I have 3 runs a week. So I think for 2 out of the 3 runs I'll work in zone 2 heart rate. And then, which is like 60 to 70% of your max. It's going to feel so slow. It's like a brisk walk for me right now. And then on the Monday runs, I'll go for like, because those are the long runs. I don't know what I'm going to do there yet, but I'll figure it out. All right, last Hedgies bag. And then we'll pop all of this together. And I'll figure out a zipper for that bag later. Should pop up and just plug the iron in so it's hot when I get up to do this. Sewing in this last zipper. I just plugged the iron in because after this these do need a good press. Realistically the big bags need a press as well, but they have a little bit more area to manipulate the fabric in, whereas a lot of these they did not take kindly to being stored once I like had washed and ironed them, so it's weird. They also need to be ironed so that I can press in the actual like halfway point for installing or for when we fold it over to make sure that the zipper is centered in the fabric. There we go. There and there. Here. I did get the black top stitching done on all the other bags that we've had that I had installed zippers on already, and the handles, so we got everything ironed and top stitched there. And then we have these few to finish with the black thread, and then it's all white thread, and then end seams with the pull tabs, and then boxing the bag. So we'll see, realistically, whatever gets done today is what gets done, and then we'll turn and seams tomorrow, along with the snaps and the needle stashers, because on top of it I do also still need to pack the truck tomorrow to actually get all the stock to Airdrie. As much as it's a local show, it still takes quite a bit of work to like get everything lined up properly. And there's just some different products, so Dallas won't know exactly what we need to pack either, and realistically I don't even really know sometimes what we're going to pack, because it changes almost every show, mostly based on like booth size and stuff like that. So we got 10 by 10 this time, so it's a little bit easier to set up, shorter setup time at least, because we also have a shorter setup time in general, only 2 hours. So alright, there we go, and the iron is heated up, so I'm just going to pop in behind the sewing table here. Not going to turn the camera or anything. I'll put us to intermission, and then I will be right back. I'll be right back. There's 3 bags to do. Done. Done. Those ironed and ready to go for top stitching. They're nice and warm. They're like sitting on my desk, like under my arm, like yeah, they're warm. Okay, let's get the top stitching done on these, and then we'll swap to the white, back to the white thread. Do that, and then we'll have have to reinstall the zipper pulls that we pulled off. I know I'm always talking about efficiency and like, but, alright, this needs the actual thread picked out because it's like actually kind of a disaster on the back here. Mostly around this corner there's a lot of like loose thread. This one just needs to be top stitched. Anyway, yeah, I'm always talking about efficiency, but the zip pulls did have to come off because it was like, it just would have been more difficult to actually get everything lined up than just to pull them off and redo them afterwards. So this line here, this hump, is actually how I make sure that the zipper is now centered. Once we get to installing the pull tabs and like centering the zipper to finish the bag, basically. So I thought it was supposed to be like way warmer this week, which it is compared to last week, but it's still like, I think, well, it was still minus 21 when I went out earlier, and the high is still only supposed to be minus 16. It's just like, ooh, that's warmer, but not what I was anticipating. I think it's also cooled down over the weekend because it was supposed to be like +6 by Saturday, and now it's like minus 6 or something like that. Like, those are two very different, like, single-digit temperatures. Still better than minus 30, that's for sure. This deep freeze, like for January, usually doesn't happen until late January, I feel like, but oh well. It's gonna happen at some point, typically. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. So we have dropped one of the neon flowers just because I was like, I do not have a zipper cut for it right now for some reason, or it's dropped somewhere and disappeared into the pile. Yes, that pile is got a capital P. It is a proper noun. So it'll be one of the first things that I finish when we, after Airdrie, basically. Thinking this hedgehog fabric would make a really good purse, actually. Now that I'm like really looking at it. Put a canvas bottom on it and all of that. Oh, super cute. Tucking in the edges because that marks where I need to start and stop my stitching, and basically like make sure that when we go into sew in the tabs and like the zippers to finish these bags, that we've got enough space. It's one of the things I did that I just changed up. I always kind of guessed it before, but I started doing a little bit more exacting in the last year, and it has like it's helped quite a bit. I have had to seam rip out far fewer top stitching and like zipper seams than I did before. Alright, let's get these guys off the table and back with their brethren, and then we'll swap out the threads for white top stitching. Alrighty, right back there. Stay. Set up the bobbin thread as well because we will need a bobbin sooner rather than later for the white. Because I think, oh no, we got mostly full bobbins here. Mostly full and fully full, so that's good at least. Pop these out like that. Clean out the gunk. A bunch of like fiber right there. There we go. Lint dust. Alright. After Airdrie, I do need to give my machine a good cleaning out from underneath because there is a large amount of stuff under my feed dogs, so it's time to clear it out. We're almost to the end of another spool. These are 5,000 meter spools. Actually, almost to the end of 2 more spools. And we're getting down on the white thread as well. So that's kind of exciting. Alright. This doesn't need to be on the bobbin yet, but we're going to thread it through most of the way. Actually, I'm going to pull the black bobbin, thread bobbin. We'll throw them both in the drawer, because why not? This is needle thread, upper thread. Oh boy. Did find a pair of thread snips yesterday, which is good. They're not the ones I was thinking of, but they're better than nothing. I was like, what am I doing? But I am threading. Gotta thread the uppers. Don't know why I didn't use the thread snips there. Whatever, I'm just used to using the shears right now, apparently. Need to track down the rest of my thread snips. Just take my like can of compressed air through a lot of this and just like spritz it out through everything. Alright. Thread the needle. That went very smooth. And pull the bobbin thread. And now more coffee. And then more sewing. Part of this is that these are just like I said, head down, very meditative, especially for the handles. Not so much for the like actual bags, but these guys are fun because they just one of the few times where I can actually go pretty much full speed with my machine, or darn close, because it's just like, it's just so good. And actually, this is one of the places where the fusible interfacing has definitely beaten the sewing interfacing, is that these are not crinkling. So if I was using sewing interfacing, a lot of times there would be like a worry about wrinkles and stuff like that. But this, no, it's just flat and we're just get to go. We're along for the ride today, which is amazing. Set them down here, it could be even faster. Not really. Good thing the bobbin thread's going well, because that was an upside down one. Seam side up, and I'm like, I don't want seam side up for sewing top stitching. So you want the top stitching on the top to be nice, since it is a very visible stitch line. There we go. That's what I mean about those are just like super meditative. You can just go. Alright, some of these are going to be so freaking adorable. If you were to ask me today how I sell my bags, some days I don't know. I don't know how I don't just hoard them all. Granted, I have kept a few. There is the one that I've had around for quite a while. It's like, it was one of two of the fabric, and I'm just like, no, I can't. Like, I have to keep one for myself because it was adorable. It's like little candy lane cats, basically. I'll have to find it. I don't know where it is right now, but I'll track it down. I also kept one of the kittens and cookies from my club with Ancient Arts Yarns a few years ago. I think that's 21 actually, which means it's like 3 years ago. just kind of lurking around and have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer. I don't have a lot of stories right now because I have streamed for a lot of hours the last couple days. And yes, I could repeat the stories, but I don't know what ones I've already repeated, so... Or who's, like, already heard the stories. I probably will in a little bit, but I'm also trying to just get that caffeine into my system, so... So you get some ASMR sewing machine here for a couple minutes. Actually, the funny thing about Airdrie is that it was actually my last show in 2020. Obviously, we had completely different plans for that year, but yeah, we did Airdrie, and then we did our baby moon in Victoria. We had our baby shower, and a week later, we were no longer able to see friends. We just, like, our timing was insanely lucky. But yeah, Airdrie was my last show for 2020, so pre-babies. And then my first show back would have been Mid-City. Well, the attempted one in 2021 where I broke my ankle, so there's no way I was going to be there for that one. And then 22, did I do May that year? No, because Edmonton was only that weekend, and that is my eldest's birthday weekend, so I didn't do it then. So it'll be good to do a new one, or like return to one that I haven't done in a while on my own stomping ground. Forgot how nice it is to actually do local shows, because usually I'm prepping for Knit City, and that takes a lot of effort, so I don't do a lot around this area. But with the placement of these shows and when Knit City is in the summer, because I think it's August 16th to 18th, and actually I don't even know, it hasn't been confirmed yet. I have not had a full confirmation that I am accepted. I'm going to assume I am, but you know, hopefully that information, I'm pretty sure that what they're doing is they're working on Toronto right now, and it's like, so trying to figure out 2 shows at one time in 2 very vastly different areas would be difficult. Alright, there's the birds fixed. I'm going to seam rip penguins, and we're going to redo it quickly too, just because this back is super messy, unacceptably messy. I do not know what happened here, but we will resolve it somehow. Looks like it's mostly just messy on this corner, so we might just top stitch this corner again. And there's a bunch of like random floating threads from other things. What the heck is going on with this one? My goodness. Yeah, so I'm going to be wrapping up on production tomorrow, obviously. Show is on Saturday, and then I'll probably be radio silent for a couple days, mostly for recovery, because realistically I haven't had much recovery since we got home. And we're going to reset the studio on Monday a little bit too, and just get some of the kids' disaster stuff tidied up, because it was yeah. Dallas came down after I did the big clean and like carpet clean and everything. He's like, whoa, the kids really made it a mess, eh? And I'm like, yep. That's why it doesn't get tidied up all the time, because it's like such a defeating thing some days to just always be tidying up your space. So, and I'm not exactly the tidiest person in the world either myself, so. And the kids do like age appropriate amounts of tidying up and stuff like that, but it's just like the fight to get them to do it sometimes is not worth the energy. Or the monitoring, I guess, maybe as well. Alright, so there'll be some new bookmarks coming with me to Airdrie as well. these will be on in the finish pile, to finish pile tomorrow, just so that I can make sure that the little like ends get singed off with the lighter, blah blah blah. I think that's good all the way. No, it went wonky up there. That doesn't surprise me. I heard it go wonky. So we'll get that pulled, and then we'll just restitch this area. Do not understand why this happens sometimes. Oh well. We'll stitch it from this side. There we go. Fixed. So these corner bookmarks are actually really cool. They just basically slip over the corner of the book, and then they are like a really pretty little like thing you just put on the corner of the book. They're also an extremely good scrap buster for me. Like, I am actually seeing the bottom of some of my scrap bins that I have not seen in the last 10 years, so that's nice too. There's the finished pile, right? The two finished piles right there. Now we're gonna go in and we are going to top stitch the white small box bags. But I just had to get myself a little win of like, okay, those products are finished. At least finished enough for now. Go, fold that back. So. There we go. So these small box bags are really good for like, so if you're a knitter or crocheter, what I typically recommend these for are like sock and single skein, or like up to 3 skein knits. So like the really popular, actually I don't know if they're still popular or not. I feel like we've kind of swung out of smaller like 3 skein shawls, but it's really like they're really good size for 3 skein shawls, or 3 like cakes of DK or something like that, and anything like below that in the size. So that's what this size is really good for. I use it typically for my like sock knitting bag, or like a toque, or just a hat, beanie, kids knits, all of that. So all that kind of like a little bit smaller stuff. On the flip side, it is also an amazing packing cube for traveling, for your socks and underwear and or makeup. Medications, I've had mums buy them for Lego bags in the past. Yeah, they're just like, really, the sky is the limit for what you actually can use these bags for. I do not condone using my bags for illegal purposes. That's the only thing. Please don't involve my name in anything illegal. But otherwise, have at it. Alright, these bunnies, which just keep getting better every time I look at them. They look even better in this light right now. Also really like these little black cats with the strawberries. Japan just knows how to do their fabrics so well. I don't get it, but I love it. And I'm glad so many of you all love it too. Could I actually mark that with an Airdrie racing marker? 100%. But whatever. It doesn't have to be exactly on the line. As long as it's not over that line, we're good. I'm doing a little fold back spaced on the seam so that when we go to install the twill tape, it's not like I've got space for the seam allowance. Basically, is what I'm doing. So if you've been along for the journey for a while, you know that I was training for the Dopey Challenge down at Disney World. We completed it last week. I told Dallas during the marathon, which was my first marathon, which I expected to finish around 7 to 7.5 hours. I finished it in just under 6:45, which I'm extremely pleased with. But anyway, I told him towards mile 24 of that, I was like, I hate this. I hated the training up to it. I hate this, running of it, which, do you know what? Now that I think of it, actually is probably about the time when most runners hate running a marathon. What's 24 miles would be, you got 2 miles left, so you're just over 3 to 4 kilometers to the finish line. And whenever I see people be like, this is where I broke down in the marathon, it's like miles 22 to 24 for a lot of people are really tough. So the fact that I made it all the way to 24, I'm quite pleased. But now I'm like, okay, what one am I running next? Now, granted, I am going to keep it mostly a special occasion thing. I don't really not interested in just going out and doing a casual marathon in Calgary. But I looked at the medals for the Kyoto Marathon and I'm like, I am totally down for running it just for that medal, because honestly, it looks better than most of the medals that we got at Dopey. And the Dopey medals were pretty good this year. Although I would argue that they're some of the weakest medals out of the whole year. And just in terms of design, I prefer the designs from the other weekends. So, but that's good, because the next challenge we're going to go do is the Fairy Tale Challenge, which is also easier in some ways because you only have to do the 10 and the half, but we'll probably go down and do the 5, 10, and half because we're already down there, and why not add on a 5K when all we have to do is walk it, basically. Walk it, meet a bunch of characters. I'm going to be trained up better. And yeah, we know what to expect now. It's almost like you have to go down and experience it. We knew Disney was going to do it well, but it's you have to go down and experience the event one time just to figure out what else you can get out of the event before you do it again. Hey, this one actually still has some air erase marks from when we were doing the zipper seams. But anyway, yeah, I was looking at the Kyoto Marathon medals, and it's also really cool because you run past a bunch of the historical sites in Kyoto. It's not a stupid early start. It starts at 9, so you probably have to be there around 7:30. That and the Osaka Marathon are actually top on my list, and I would run Tokyo too if I ever get the chance, but Kyoto has rapidly moved up the list for me. It's also in February, so that's a good time to travel there. It's it'd be good running weather because it'd be warmer than here, but it wouldn't be hot. There's just a lot of pros, because and actually even Tokyo and Osaka would be a really good time of year to run as well, because they're both in March. They're actually a week apart. I told Dallas we should just commit and apply for everything, and if we get into everything, run it all in 1 year, which would be intense. But it would also be kind of cool to be able to do that, especially if you got into all of them. Kyoto is a first come first serve marathon, so I don't see us having any issues getting in, as long as I was on to apply or basically pay as soon as I got as soon as it opened. Tokyo for foreigners is a lottery system, so it's a little bit different, although still not bad. Actually, I was reading about Run Disney with their corrals, is that they've actually the half marathon was a huge amount of people, and they still had reduced corral numbers. So the estimates that people had for the corral numbers for Run Disney for their half was something like 15,000 people. And pre-COVID and upper respiratory pandemic 19, the numbers were something like 25,000 or something like that. It's just that's insane. So we were extremely lucky that we were able to even get into the challenge, thankfully. But at the same time, it's I don't know if I'd actually want to run it with that much. Well, we're gonna have to run it with that many people, but if we do it in future. But I'm really glad that this first time we didn't have to. We lucked out there. But yeah, the next one we're going to do is the Fairy Tale Challenge, and that's the 10.5, and the 5K we'll just tack on. But it's really cool because they do like sunrise yoga in front of the castle, and like it'll be a lot of fun, I think. It's just a different event again, so it's funny because we definitely started our year out with a bang, and now everything, like, we love our runs here, but yeah. But it's not Run Disney. There we go. I was reading that there's actually a marathon in Singapore at the beginning of December, and it's like, that would be a fun one too. And if you were watching the other day, I did actually look up if there is a marathon in Greece for the marathon route. And yes, you actually run from Marathon to Athens, which is really cool. I think that would be a really awesome one to do eventually. That one would require some like heat training though, I think, so. Because Greece has been on my list to visit for a while, and so being able to kind of also do a run at the same time would be really cool. Okay. Almost. It's like we're almost there. We're not almost there. We are cranking along though pretty good, which I'm happy about. The machine is happy today, which is always nice. As long as I didn't jinx myself there, we're good. I do have only until about 4 p.m., so I got about 2 more hours. And Dallas has plans outside of the house, so at least the stream will stop then. And I'll figure out where my kids' energy levels are at for me to come, if we come down the stairs or not, before he gets home. But I will definitely be back down tonight, simply because it's like I need to do that final push. We'll just kind of work tonight until I can't work anymore. And then tomorrow I will be on early to like probably between 8 and 8:30 in the morning, Mountain Time, because tomorrow is the final push. And I will need time in the afternoon to help Dallas load the truck, so I'll come on early to start the stream instead. And once the kids are in bed tonight and Dallas is back to kind of, well, he's back to like be here and back up for like their wake ups and stuff like that, then I'll come back down and we'll stream what I get done tonight. Actually, in that case, I might end up having a coffee post dinner. I don't usually do that because normally that means that I'm not asleep until like 1 a.m. But that's kind of where I need to be tonight anyway. Years ago it was like, oh, I can drink a coffee and then go to bed, no big deal. And now it's like, ooh, I can't drink a coffee past like, well, I shouldn't be drinking coffee past like 5 or else I will be like awake. So this will be the exception, is like when I want to be awake. Which, yeah, tonight that's what will be happening. Speaking of coffee, oh. Excuse me, there's a bunch of like fines at the bottom of my cup. Ugh. Not grounds, but like just ugh. Coffee sludge. Gross. Was not anticipating it, that's all. Okay. These cats remind me of video game characters. I don't know why. I think it's mostly the color of them and stuff like that, and just like their poses. But that's what it reminds me of. I'm like, they feel familiar. And they aren't like any specific video game character, but they're just video game-esque, I guess, might be the best description. So. Alright, and then after Airdrie, I will record a shop update, like, video, so that you know what's going to be going into the shop. I will not live stream that. I will record it and post it once all the photographs and everything are taken. The post Airdrie update, I'll probably set. I gotta look at the calendar. Get out of here, email notifications. Yeah, I will set the actual like update for between the 26th and the 29th of January, just to give myself enough time to actually like process and photograph everything while the kids are in school, and then edit the photos, all of that jazz. And then for Creekside, I was planning on bringing some custom order stuff it's gonna kind of lurk under the table because I don't think I'm gonna have room. But what would you like to see the main focus be? Would you like to see cats, dogs, like animal prints, Japan motifs? I obviously can't bring everything. I don't have enough room for that sort of thing. But I'm happy to bring a selection of fabrics. You can always do pick your own from the website in person as well. And at least having some of the samples will give you a better idea of what the fabrics actually feel like. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more bags. Hey, we are cranking along. It's under an hour and we've already done quite a bit more than I anticipated. So let's get this really done. Yeah, I'm excited for Sunday because we're gonna go to spin and yoga, and then we are just going to chill, which will be amazing. That needs a little bit more. There, about there. So just top of the orange. There we go. And then yeah, Monday I think Dallas and I will come down here and we'll do the tidy up of the studio and kind of get it reset again. I need to reset the desk behind me in particular because I need to actually work on taxes. Get that all sorted out for the year. Should have stayed up with the kids and had a nap with them. I don't think that cup of coffee is gonna cut it. Oh well. One of my best, most random experiences when I was actually on exchange was during cherry blossom season. Friends and I went to Osaka Castle, more or less in the middle of the city, I think. Actually, I can double check that and let you know. I think it's in the middle of the city. Google Maps. Osaka, Jo. Jo means castle in Japanese. No, we're gonna say it's actually to the... No, I think it's probably right in the middle of the city proper. Let's go with that. Anyway, we were there for cherry blossom season because they have massive cherry blossom orchard. They don't produce fruit, but that would be the like forest, something like that. Anyway, peak cherry blossom season. It was gorgeous that year. Blah blah blah. And there was a guy out with his, I think it was a cockatiel or parrot. It was a parrot. One of the white guys with like yellow tipped feathers. And we actually got to take photos with this guy's like bird. It was so cool. We are out of bobbin thread. And it's still to this day like one of my favorite photos of me from exchange was me with this bird. It's just like the color combination, the focus on it, just the energy of it is really cool. So But that is definitely one of my most random encounters that I had when I was in Japan. Most random best encounter. Besides the gentleman who helped us get from Tokyo Airport down to Osaka. Super helpful. There we go. Okay, so the granny triangles, the crochet triangles here need to have their top stitching finished, and then we'll go into laundry cats, laundry day cats, start the bobbin winding, and then we need to do a split up of what gets white twill and what gets black twill, and then we need to also set up the zipper jig and reinstall the zipper poles that we had to take off. There we go. One bag done. Ha ha ha. And then we got, yeah, we only got 2 more. So we're doing good. Like a little bit reminiscent of the 3 kittens who lost their mittens. All right. Split up piles, and I will track down the tape. Actually, it's right there. That's not that big deal. And we'll get everything going. I'm actually quite pleased with how much I've been able to get done this week, because I was not expecting. Well, of course, I always want to get more done, but I'm actually very pleased with what we have accomplished. There we go. Without also like completely messing up my sleep schedule. Except for tonight. We're going to mess it up tonight. That's okay. One night out of the week is fine. There we go. Okay, I need those thread snips. Okay, so these ones will have, well, this one will have a beige pull tab. This one will have a beige pull tab. I think most of these ones with the white top stitching are going to end up with a beige pull tab, and that's fine. I think actually, well, these flowers I think might look better with black. We'll double check it, but we're going to start the black pile with them. And the cats will be better with black too. That pink zipper actually worked out really well. I didn't know if it was going to, and sometimes you don't know until you start sewing it in. But I just realized that it did actually work out very well. Alright, what were you getting stuck on? Cats. This is such a stark one that we're going to do black for it too. There's an extremely stark white, so we're going to do black there. Shiba Inu will get black. I like how I'm like, all the white ones are going to get probably the, like, natural twill tab, and it's like, no, actually. Probably should just do black tabs for everything. And that might be something I do in the future, but like for some of them it doesn't make sense. So the Shibas will look better with the beige. This will look better with the beige because it's kind of got a sand and neutral background. Sloths and bunnies get beige. And then the black cats with strawberries will get black. And the gecko will get black as well. Basically what we're doing is we'll just do the split up for now, and then I'll do the actual counts for how many we need and document that in a minute. Okay, we are going to go with black for these ones, all 3 of these. You top stitch those, yeah, okay, good. And actually, I'm just going to say all of these are going to be black now. Yeah, there's none in here that are going to get beige / natural pull tabs. So we'll just trim them up so that we can count them easier. Right in the middle. Just trim them up. They're all chain pieced anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Go. Alice, definitely. Sushi Neko, definitely. By the way, if you're looking for different colorways in the Sushi Neko, Paula Adanas got basically all of the natural Sushi Neko, and from what I remember, Caroline down at Ancient Arts Yarns still has a navy Sushi Neko if you're looking for a couple different colorways. I will have red now, and then I do also have a forest green Sushi Neko. Definitely looks different. It kind of pulls, it highlights different aspects of the actual print, but that's pretty cool, I think. There's the gecko. There's black cat in windows on purple. Crepe cats. Capybara. And the butterflies. Oh, and one more. Which one's this? Oh, the black cat's on the teal. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 piles in some ways, because we want the zip edition separate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry if you're counting your knitting. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 so far, and then there's another pile down here. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 black pull tab sets. 27. 27. Okay, 27. I'm going to make a note of that because otherwise I will forget here in the next moments. 27 black pull tab sets, because we need 2. It's not just 1. Then we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7 and 1 zip pull to put on. 7 natural pull tab sets. Alright, so let's should put the zip pulls on first, and then I don't have a bunch of extra like fabric floating around on my cutting table that I'll like flip off into the floor and be like, no. And I just realized I need to pick up all my clips, because we won't have enough clips otherwise. And they're in the pile right now, so let's pull a bunch of those up. Pile is mostly going to my friend, because she's using it to stuff her amigurumi with. Although I have told her, I'm like, if you find something useful in it, please pull it. Like clips. There are a bunch of zippers involved in here too, and they shouldn't be either, so. Okay, and then there's a bunch of clips in here. I use pins 100%. Do I want to bleed today? No. I forgot that these were all down here and I would need to pick them up eventually. Just about there, at least for the ones that I can see easily. This pile will be something I deal with on Monday though too, just yeah. Just to get it out from underneath my feet. Should be good. I'll grab the twill tapes anyway, just so they're here and I don't have to worry about it. Come on. I know you're there. There we go. One twill tape. Oh, come on. There we go. 2 twill tapes. Alright, so we're going to do the zipper pulls first, and then we'll do the twill tapes. Realistically, I could cut them and put them in the bin, but whatever. Oh, there's 2 more right there. I swear, even if we moved out of this place, I would still be finding clips, like, in this house, until even... Actually, people that moved into this house would probably still be finding clips, especially because this is shag carpet underneath me. So it just likes to swallow everything. Just like, oh, what are you going to feed me today? Yum, yum, yum. I saw a hack for tidying up the threads from LB Tree the other day. And it was like one of those like defur things for like a couch or something like that, right? And it's super clever. But I'm just like, would that even work on a shag carpet? I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to try. Or if I'll just deal with like cutting the threads off of my vacuum's beater bar still. Alright. We are going to trim up the ends here because I used to do that at the end, but I'm finding I get a better trim up if I do it before the end. Okay, then we'll put the zip. I don't know why I held my breath there. It's not like I needed to. Is she going to be able to trim the ends? The suspense. It's not like it's like that delicate of work either. It's not like I'm cutting around beading or something like that. Alright. Flip it. Zip it. That's the wrong way, right? How did this... Okay, so... we want the zip pull hanging down. Okay, get in there. No, that's the wrong way. What the heck? Why did that work with the... Okay. No, and that's not right either. Oh my god. So flipping it this way should mean that it's... But that's bringing the zip pull... Oh, the 3D-ness of this is not working with my brain today. Damn it. Okay, so if I'm putting it on this way, the flat bit shows to the outside. We need the flat bit to go into the inside of the bag. Flipping it this way means that the flat bit is still going to the outside of the bag. Does that mean that I just need to flip it? Aha, there we go. Okay. Exterior for these ones needs to face me. Whew. Alright. I promise most days I don't feel that dumb. Okay, come on. You've been on here once before, very recently. You can go back on again. And of course the zipper's gonna fight me. There we go. Okay, so now what happens is, so there's the zip pull on, and honestly what we're going to do is we'll go through and we'll do all the light ones. And we'll pin the twill into it, because why not? May as well do it while I'm here. Thinking about it, everything has to be turned anyway. So there's that nice, here's that nice crease right here. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to turn the camera down a little bit so you can see the desk a bit better. Haha! So this crease goes into the zip line, like line it up with the teeth, and then everything is just nice and lined up, and the fabric is even for itself around the zipper. And it's not some arbitrary measurement, so that if this doesn't match the measurement exactly, you're not getting a wonky bag. So that's how we do this one. At least that's what's worked for me. Again, if you can take any information away from this and it like helps you, awesome. If you do it another way and it helps and it works for you, all the power to you. This is just what works for me. Whatever works to get you to your end goal. That's what I care about. But I do find that that is the easiest way for me to center my bag. Lots of people trim a little bit out, like a little notch at that point, or like, there's lots of ways to actually mark it. But I like the ironing because I don't have to worry about my seam allowance or like overcutting my notch or anything like that. I just do this, and then it's like non-damaging to the bag. Alright, so with this we're gonna clip this back so we can actually sew along the seam allowance. I'm gonna fold this and pop it in right here, and then we're going to clip it. I'm gonna pull a bunch of those clips that we just put back in there out, because hi, I need access to them easier than reaching into the bin every time. Then we're gonna fold this side like this, like that. And then we're gonna fold this under and in. Like that. Actually, and that needs to be trimmed down, but I'll trim it down once we actually, I'm going to put 2 clips because this zipper is split on this side. Because this is the opening, and then we're all good to go under the sewing machine. So what we're going to actually do before we get there is we are going to trim everything up and get it turned, and then we'll cut the twill, clip it in, and then we'll switch to the black twill guys and do them. It's just straightforward stitching from there. I'm gonna turn my seam allowance down while I'm thinking about it so I don't have to think about it. I don't accidentally start sewing on like a 4.5mm stitch when I come back to sew. Not the end of the world, but I don't want to have to redo a bunch of seams again today. Let's avoid having to redo seams. That's usually a good goal to have. In this case, the zipper is too long, so we're going to trim it down. Right here and right here. Lots of times I don't do this to the end, but that was when I was also pinning more than I was like clipping stuff. So it needs to be trimmed down for the clips, because otherwise the clip can't actually get in to hold anything. So okay, is this zipper jig in the way? 100%. Am I going to take it off? No. I just want to get this work done, so we'll work around it. It's not a hazard really, except for maybe my like forearm, but it's okay. trim these down as close as we can get. I don't know why it's faster to do it now, because it's the same number of cuts as if I did it afterwards, but it's just, I think they just look tidier, so it's less work. There we go. Turn it. And I am going to even everything up right now, and then we'll just do the twill afterwards. That's fine. We'll get everything else done. So far, so good with this fusible interfacing, though. I am very pleased with like how it's feeling so far. I feel like it's going to be a really good support for the actual bag on the interior. So basically, it'll act more like a stabilizer than an interfacing in some ways. So it's gonna the bag is gonna have amazing body, which is the main thing that I want when I'm using interfacing for bag. So, and it's a little bit stiffer than the sewing I was using, which was nice. So I think they're just gonna feel good without being like crunchy. I guess that is the one thing I do want to avoid with the fusible interfacings that I find can happen, is they kind of go the other extreme and go crunchy. Sometimes, not always. Okay, that one needs to be trimmed down in the middle as well. Interior trim, like that. Interior. And exterior. Clip. Alrighty, there we go. I know this is absolutely riveting. Turn, turn, turn. We are getting very close to the end though, and that for me is riveting because it's like, yes, I might actually do it. I didn't think I was going to get all the small box bags done, but we might do it. Especially if I do, I will be drinking a coffee tonight and like just head down, get a bunch of work done tonight after the kids go to bed. And maybe even before they go to bed if they'll come down and chill with the TV or something like that. Do some TV daycare for a couple hours. We're on a hard electronics detox after the trip because of course they got iPads and stuff on the plane, and they had a lot of iPad time over Christmas break because I was trying to get stuff done so that like I wasn't coming back and having quite as big a mad dash. We've seen how that worked out. I did actually get a lot of work done before we left, but it still wasn't enough. I was still in the like learning curve for a bunch of stuff at that point because I hadn't put the so the big bags, this is the first round of like production sewing for the canvas bottoms, which is very different from like one-off sewing of canvas bottoms. So I there was some in and outs that I hadn't realized I needed to do, like it 100% has to be pressed like between the two layers because otherwise it just looks bad. But that added time that I hadn't anticipated to the process, especially when you are making production levels. So like we made 21 bags or whatever, and that's a low production level for me typically, but because of the learning curve it just took longer. 35 small box bags is a pretty intense number though, so we'll still see if I get it done, but we are getting ever closer, so I'll take that at least. What is it? You fill every chance you don't take, or something like that. It's not like the fabric will go bad. That's what I keep saying. I can always make it afterwards, especially when it's like this close to being finished. Actually, that's something I should do on Monday. Is I should get Dallas to move those pegboard things with the hardware, because realistically where they are right now is absolutely useless because it's like all the D-rings and everything like that, and that's the stuff that I sew in, and so I'm not like going to move all my sewing stuff or like whips over to the other side of the room and then move everything back. There's some stuff that can stay up there for sure, but yeah, I should get him to move the little like bin, wall mounted bin system that I have. There we go, that's what it is. By the way, if you're looking for small parts storage that you want to hang, the Princess Auto has the small part bin organizers. And are they the highest quality? No, but they're $35 compared to like $100. And the biggest thing I find, at least for me personally, is I have had good luck with them so far. They're a little bit tight getting onto like the actual mounting, but realistically you want them to not be easy to get on and off. So I just find that the molding or in shipping or something like that, probably in shipping, the little prongs that like insert into the actual mounting kind of get pushed back towards into the bin, and so that's where the hardest part comes for me, is just getting them back onto the shelving. And I think probably if I took like a hair dryer to them or something warm and just kind of coax them open almost a little bit, they would probably be better. But whatever, for the price I paid for them, I will take it, because that means the 2 that I got were less than buying like 1 off of Amazon or Home Depot or whatever. Princess Auto is a Canadian auto parts and like random hardware store. It's like one of the weirdest places to get, I don't know, stuff sometimes. But they sure come in handy when they come in handy. The dream one day would be to have one of the actual like rolly bin systems, but I don't think I'll ever have space for it. Actually, if I were to move the stock dressers, I would have space, but the stock dressers are too useful, and I don't know where else I would put them. They might be what needs to go in the cutting studio, but that doesn't make sense, because then I'd have to haul the stock out in and out of the cutting studio all the time. The cutting studio is pretty tight, the amount of space with that cutting table in there. It still needs a little bit of like finessing, but I think we're almost to where I want it to be. We are almost to where I want the studio to be too, but it does need a little bit more, again, just finessing. And so that's part of what I'll work on Monday, because I do want to eventually do like an actual studio tour, because honestly, those were super useful for me, and like entertaining as well. I like seeing other people's workspaces, whatever they might be, and like seeing what other people do to organize their smaller spaces too. So, oh right, am I gonna? Yeah, let's clip all the twill in there, and then I can just move them out of the way completely, and then yeah. Okay, so we already did 1, so we need 6 more, which means that I can just do. Okay, now the zip jig is legitimately in the way. Alright, whatever. I can make it work. Okay. I don't know if the pinking shears actually does help, but we're gonna do it anyway. Alright, so we need 6, so we're actually just gonna go in and cut this in half and half and half again. Because there's that. Sorry, I will try not to drop those like that again. I just heard it through my phone even, and my phone is turned all the way down, so no dropping the pinking shears, Katie. Okay, so there's 4. And there's 5, 6. Is that right? No, that is not right. Where did that go wrong? They are not the right length. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, I see. Okay. Because they need to be cut now. This way. Okay. Dun 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 dun. There's like 3 here now, so I didn't think about the fact that cutting it in half would not equal. Yeah, no, okay. And then this one can be cut in half. So there's 1 bag, and then we'll cut 1 here. 2 bags. 3 bags. 4 and 5, 6 is right here. Okay, that actually worked out quite a bit smoother than it could have. I'm glad I caught that before I just went and cut them all in half, because that would have been a waste of time and money and supplies. Okay, I need more clips. By the way, I swear I had like 400 clips. I know I've broken some, and I know I've like misplaced a lot of them, but there's no way that I misplaced as many as that bin indicates I did. I must have some in project somewhere that like I've forgotten about or something. I know there are a bunch of whips in a bin back here that I need to finish up and get clips out of, but it's still not 400. Like, I don't know how many are there. We're not going to count because that would probably be kind of mortifying, to be honest. But we'll figure it out soon. Alright. Bunnies get a natural tab. So this all is prep work to sew the end seams. We sew the end seams, and then we sew, and then we cut the box edges. Then we sew the box edges, and then we turn the bags, and then we finish the seam, and then profit. So what I'm hoping that I can get to, well, I'm not going to get to it right now because I've got just over an hour until I need to be back upstairs. Where am I at? What is the thought process there? I lost it. I lost the train. That's okay. Maybe I'll flag down a taxi instead. Oh yeah, I was trying to say that maybe I would be able to get them to the point of being able to turn them, but that's not going to happen in the next 2 hours, or hour and a quarter. However long it is, so that's okay. Alright, but we did get all of the top stitching done, and now we are on to the next step, which is really nice. This is actually work that I could take up and do with the kids around probably, so that's probably what I'll do. I'll set them up with their coloring, and I can set up with my clipping because I don't have to worry about them like getting into the pins or anything like that with this system. So pins are much more worrisome than clips. Clips are annoying if they like bat them around and stuff. I swear, kids, the more I'm around kids, the more like cats they are. Bat them around. That's pretty much what they do. Let's see how far it can skitter across the hardwood. Which is the benefit to the shag, is they just kind of get dropped and they sit until it gets stepped on, which, yeah. Okay, there we go. One side, two sides. So these tabs, I put them in. I don't see a lot of big box bags with tabs like this, but I put them in because I find it easier to open and close the bag, so it makes it a bit more accessible. And because all of my bags also have handles, what that is that it's so you can actually, like, I designed all my bags when I was on transit and using transit because I was still working full time. This was the side hustle basically. So they were designed to be used on the go, and I found that having the the tabs on either end allowed you to open and close the bag significantly easier, especially when it was hanging on your arm. So the handle is enough that you can like put your arm through it and it should hang on your wrist comfortably. And then the zipper runs up towards the handle, so that basically you can unzip and your yarn will be unimpeded by the zipper while you pull it out and work on your project. And this is whether you knit and walk, or you're on transit and knitting, or you just want to take your knitting out to a coffee shop. I know, in this economy, right? But like it's designed to be a transportable yarn bowl, fabric yarn bowl. There we go. Let's go with that. Okay, I'm gonna line it up here, and then I'm gonna pop this here and down. Are waking up from their nap. Dallas is like, do we need to do a nap today? And I'm like, no. And then I got upstairs, I'm like, yes, we need to. Our youngest is getting really mean when they're tired, and it's like they don't typically nap, but you can just tell. Now, will I regret this at bedtime? 95% sure. But hopefully it doesn't affect bedtime too much. before they dropped the nap, though, it was like bedtime was slowly pushing back. We don't have early bed timers anyway. Like, we're lucky if they go to bed between 7:30 and 8:30 sort of thing. But the youngest was pushing back and pushing back and pushing back. I think they ended up hitting like 9:30, 10 regularly. And I was just like, Dallas, I'm like, we gotta drop the nap, because it's like, it is going to be so painful for the first little bit. Because that transition is painful for everyone, typically. But I cannot have these children going to bed at 10 o'clock at night, because holy. Especially because we were also trying to transition to like, well, we did try to have them on a schedule where we were able to put them down earlier when we were in Florida, because of course Dallas and I were up at like 2 a.m., 2:15 to get ready for the races. That didn't really happen, but they did end up going down fairly well actually while we were there. Except for, of course, the marathon day, they like woke up in the middle of the night and like we're toddlers, and that's fine, but my goodness. It makes the fact that we actually got through the marathon even better. Alright, got 2 more for the natural twill color, and then we'll go in and we will put zip pulls on and do all of the black twill bags. And then that'll probably take about that hour and a quarter that we have left before I need to go upstairs. So I'll transition up to actually doing them upstairs while the kiddos color. So I will not be doing on camera, but you like, this is all I will be doing. And honestly, with that, then they can color and I can listen to my audiobook. And then hopefully they go down to bed and I will consume my coffee and come downstairs and finish off inseams and trimming the box edges of these bags tonight. Actually, hopefully I can start on that upstairs. So I'll take up my shears and my pinking shears and we'll just try to crank through as much as we can, as long as the kids are 75% chill. 75% chill being like they're not trying to grab my tool. So actually, we were super lucky. We got Disney World does first haircuts, and so we hit the point where it's either we did it down there, or like we weren't going to get the opportunity again, because we're not going to be back for 3 years, and they both need at least a little bit of a trim up. Our youngest had like a really dry, crunchy bit in the back, and I'm like, that's really weird. So it's been trimmed up really short. I miss the longer hair. It just suited them better. But they both have bangs now, which is going to help because they'll be out of their face so they can see, which is the big one. But anyway, they do like, we lucked out in the Dapper Dans, which is their barbershop quartet, sang a barbershop quartet song about first haircut while we were there, which I don't think would have happened if we hadn't had such an early time. And then they get like a whole little hat and like a certificate, and they do up like a little bundle of their first haircut hair, and it was super cute. I'm really glad that we did it. So, and kind of funny that they both get it at the same time. It's one thing about having them only a year apart is they're gonna pretty much keep up with each other, I think. Like, hopefully anyway. Alright, now we are on to the black thread bag, so we'll do the trim up first, and then we'll do the rest. Trim. By the way, if you notice me not finishing an edge on any of these bags, because I will be mostly sewing on screen, please let me know. I sometimes do get to shows, and like I'll be popping out a corner on a bag and I'll be like, oh, this one's not finished. There's actually, what reminded me is there's one sitting behind me right now waiting to have that done to it. So I'm like, okay, I'm wondering if I should actually, should I cut the pull tabs right now? But because then I wouldn't have to carry up the twill or the pinking shears. So actually, yes, let's cut all the black pull tabs, because then I don't have to carry these supplies upstairs. I just have to take the clip bin and the actual bags. Okay, so we need 27 black pole tab sets. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to use the short ruler right here instead of trying to be fancy and do it all at once, because obviously it worked, but it didn't work either. Plus then I can just do 27 sets and then we're good, because this ruler does one bag per cut, and then we just have to cut these in half. So 1, 2, sorry, I will try to remember not to drop those shears because they're really loud. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's 1/3, so I'm gonna re-measure again, just so it's like not getting too short and not getting too long. Actually, we did pretty good with that set, so that's exciting. Let's do the next one. I'm gonna trim it just above my fingers there, so 1. I just realized I could actually make sure that I'm seeing the chat. There we go. And 2. And 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Okay, there seems to have been a little bit of an expansion here. So there's 7, 8 maybe. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. 9. 2/3. 9. 10. 11. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There we go. That'll work. And then the little bit extra that's like over the edge of the ruler, because of course the ruler's got a little bit of width or depth or whatever we want. I don't know what this would be called, but that can be the pinking area. Okay, let's pop this out right here like that. Then we'll trim it up here. Ooh, my shears are like, we don't like that. Alright, and then come on, pinky shears, you got it. Okay, sweet. So we'll scroll this back in. Now we don't need to take the twill tape up, at least, so it's one less thing that the kids can get into. Someone is texting me. Ooh, that doesn't need to be on. Heck, why was that so loud? Okay, muted. Okay, let's trim these down, and then we will go, and then we'll continue like getting this done. But we'll trim them down because then I don't even have to take the pinking shears up. I really only have to take the shears up to trim down zippers and stuff. And if I get everything turned and trimmed, then we're just taking, then we're golden. Eek. Alright. Just about there. Go. Seems like you can cut about 3 layers at once, which is pretty awesome. Especially considering that we're more or less in sets of 3. Even up that edge a little bit so it's a little bit less rando. Ooh, yeah, no, that those ones wandered off significantly. Alright, trim it down a little bit. There's a little bit of extra play in like how long these have to be for the bag, so it's fine. There we go. Here and here and cut. Here and turn and cut. And the last set. We'll go through and we will turn and trim everything. Done. Sweet. So don't need that out anymore either. Yeah, so we'll trim down all the zippers down here, hopefully. As long as I get everything turned, we're good. Do not drop the shears, Katie. Do not drop the shears. Okay, we're going to ignore the clips right now. I'm just going to throw them back in the bin for now. And then that is also where we're going to put all of the bags to carry upstairs. Like that. There we go. Because realistically, we will have just enough time. Well, it's a good place to pause is once I actually get these all trimmed and turned, or turned and trimmed, and like ready to go get their pull tabs placed. So that's a good place to pause the stream and to head upstairs with it. Actually, I am going to stuff my face with a granola bar, so I'm just going to mute the mic so that you don't have to listen to me crunching, and I'll be right back for sound. Alright, there we go. Personally, I just don't like hearing people eat on mic. Especially when it's easily avoidable. I used to watch some podcasters and they would like eat super crunchy food on mic, and it's one of the things my my mom did that always drove me insane on the phone was like crunching in my ear. I don't have misophonia, but it just like was one of those moments of just like completely triggering. So I actually stopped watching the podcast because I was like, nope, that is not cool. Your podcasts are getting too long anyway. So I try to avoid it on my own streams as well, just because it's like something that really annoys me when other people do it. I say as I've like crashed my microphone over like I don't know, what, half a dozen times in the last like 3 days and stuff like that though. So it's not like I'm perfect. I just try to be conscious of it. There we go. But I definitely need that granola bar because we have hit snack time. It's 3 o'clock here though, so that makes sense. I ate lunch around noon. It's one of those things I brought down though, because I was like, I am not going to want to stop in the middle to this afternoon since I have such a limited amount of time on stream for the afternoon. So I'll bring something and snack with me. And snack on it now. Why did you stop? You're plugged in. Are you too hot? No, everything's good. Da-da-da, collab cam, show on stream. Alright, I don't know what happened there, but something happened. Alright, let's trim up the threads in here. Trim. I'll put it in there, we're good. Good. Alright, so we're gonna zip and turn. And center. Boop. Cats. These cats are so good. Like I said, they remind me of like video game cats and like 16-bit, very specific, like SNES or Sega video game cats. I don't know why so specific, but I think it's just like the color combos and like the fairly straightforward design, I guess might be the best description. And then the pink background and stuff, it's just super cute. I love it. Love it. Not that I really hate any of my fabrics. There are a couple times where I'm like, oh, this doesn't strike the same chord with me now as it did like when I was buying it, sort of thing. Or like I'll get home and I'll be like, oh, these colorways aren't doing it as much for me as they were earlier. But that's fine. There will be someone out there that loves it. And the thing about it is I can't buy everything just to my tastes. So. And that's why I actually do like going abroad or going over with people that like have different tastes to actually shop with as well. Like, because everyone's aesthetic is like so different. Life experiences, like everything. I obviously have stuff that's like, okay, I need to pick up this thing or whatever. I do have like a running list in my head typically from people's requests of like what they want and things as well. Or at least I try. Don't always get everything. But, you know, that all depends on the season too. So like I haven't seen sloths in Japan for years, and then we had a bunch of sloth fabrics this year. Dog fabrics for years were hard to come by too, and now like in the past couple of trips there's been just as many good dog fabrics as there was cat fabrics almost. So I was very pleased with that. Stuff like that. So before my next trip, I think I will actually open up a like comment section on something about like what would you like to see when I get there. Or, like, what are your requests, sort of thing. Go. There we go. getting closer to the end of this stuff, which is awesome. Closer to the end of this step, I guess, would be the best description. And the big one we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put all the zipper pull tabs on, because otherwise the kids will just play with those and probably play like zipper pull hockey or something like that without realizing that they're even playing hockey. Alright. Oh, come on. There we go. Trimmed. Good. Re-zip. And then we'll turn the bag out. This is such a fun and funky print. Like, these colors are so vibrant. I keep calling them like neon highlighters or like fluorescent highlighters, and that is like the closest, but I honestly think this yellow might be even brighter than some of the brightest yellow highlighters I've seen in my life. I know the pink is for sure, but that's like the closest I can come in description, is that it's like fluorescent highlighter yellow. It's awesome. It's also very intense. That was the word I was grasping for, was intense. Alright, here we go. Trim this one down. If you haven't seen this one before, the story behind it is that I saw it at Nomura Taylor and purchased it, so this is Kyoto. And then a day or two later, we were at the geisha dances in Pontocho, the Kamagawa Odori, which is the one that runs in May. And the Geiko in front, or the Maiko in front of us, I think she was a Maiko, actually had an obi that was like basically very similar, like the same colors with this like green background and then the pink and like marigold colors, and it was nearly the same pattern even. So it's just like a really cool little tidbit that I saw when I was there. And it's just like so random, because it's like if we had gone to a later performance, I think we went for like the 2 p.m. performance, but if we'd gone for like a later performance, or we'd gone a different day, or like just so many factors that we would have never even seen it. So it was just really cool that it lined up that we saw her with this like obi. So the obi is the belt that actually holds the kimono in place. It's like, especially for the Maiko and Geiko, one of the most standout pieces of the whole outfit. Not that the whole outfit doesn't have spectacular pieces throughout, but my goodness, it's insane. Okay, so we figured out that the exterior for this had to face me. I really embarrassed myself putting on the last zip pull. I was like, oh my goodness, this is not, the math ain't mathin'. Don't know if I'll do much better this time, but we are going to try. Right, okay. The bag has to be upside down, but the exterior has to be facing me. And then the zip pull, so like the exterior has to be right side out, and I have to be looking at the interior. There we go. We did it. Yay, me. Because I think with the big bags, I had to do something different for the big bags. I can't even remember what I did for them, but whatever. It was embarrassing earlier. I was struggling. I was on the struggle bus with that one pretty hard. How do I put the zip pull on? And of course, it's always on stream that I'm trying to figure this stuff out right now. Oh well, that went smoother than it did the first time, at least. Geez. I'm thinking this would make a really cute purse, so I think that's one of the things I'll cut from it after Airdrie. I also have like an olive in it, and then we'll do a little like canvas base, and then put the hedgy fabric on top with the like split, so there'll be a zipper pocket, and then it'll be the zipper. Yeah, I think that'll be adorable, and like having the canvas on the bottom will also make it more durable. Actually, I might do a band of canvas on the top because I think that might. No, mine. Never mind. I've had mine for over a year now, and it's been traveling a lot. So I was just trying to think of where it's actually been wearing, and what we'll need to reinforce. And one of the areas I have to reinforce is the zipper tab. That was the big one. I might actually change up how the zipper goes in, because I'm usually pretty pleased with how the wedge bag zippers go in on my actual wedge bag, and that would reduce this wear on the actual, like, because basically the pattern that I follow has you cover the zipper, but it wears through. So what I'm thinking is, if I don't do that and I just sew it into the side seam, it'll be fine. I could also make it like double zipper with a little bit of like an overhang almost. So instead of opening from the top, it opens and has a little bit of like, yeah, let's do that. Am I totally going off easy pattern? 100%. Will it make it look more unique and awesome? 100%. I am on board with this. So I'll have to draft the pattern for that. Okay, I do not think this is not the end I'm looking for, I don't think. Oh yeah, this one's beat up more on this end. There we go. That's what I was saying about, like, I want the zipper pulls on originally because there is a directionality to the zippers. And so for the directional prints, it's super important that the zip runs the right direction. So that's the only reason that we're doing, like, we did it before and now we're doing it again. What I should just do next time is, for the directional prints, I should just count the number of directional prints and only do that number of zippers. That would be the smart way to do it. I just didn't do that this time, so whatever. But like for this, it doesn't matter which way the zipper runs. There is no directionality to this print. The geisha or Maiko print that I have, 100%, it has to run a very certain way or else it's going to look wonky. And just, ugh, I don't like it, personally. Ooh, the geisha would also be. Yeah, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to have to, like, do some plotting out with some of the older fabrics that, like, I can use. So in purse idea would have a webbing strap, or we could like upgrade it to leather. Either way, start the pricing with a webbing strap, because the leather, as soon as you add leather, it's so much more expensive. Basically a canvas frame, so it'd be, or no, canvas bottom. I just decided that it only needed a canvas bottom. It's the zipper that needs to change. And then it would come up and it would go down with a little bit of a lip. So like a 2-inch something or another on top for one zip. That would be like the main pocket. You'd have a couple slip pockets in there because slip pockets are decent. And then it'd have another zip pocket with a pocket inside of it. And then canvas on the bottom. Okay, so I'll figure that out later. I do want to have some more purses here over the summer, because hopefully I will have a few more in-person events that are like more every layman, non-knitters and like non-fiber people. So having some purses for that would be good. Would also be a really good design for like obi purses as well, I think. Especially adding the canvas in, because it would protect the obi on the bottom. Alright. I think we will get through all of this prep work and then we will be good. Well, and then I'm heading upstairs, but like, and still doing more prep work upstairs. But I think we'll get all this done downstairs and then I can just carry up this bin with everything in it. Uh-oh. There's a yard sticker on my sewing machine, and it is starting to peel from this corner over here. I just hit it with my finger and I was like, what's that sound? But it's the yardstick. Oops. Well, it's a well-loved machine, well-used machine. There we go. sure. All right, I know that the border collie is up right on this one, so it's gonna go this way. Because the border collie is basically sitting at the back center, or close to the back center. I'm pretty sure the zipper will go on this side fairly easily. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. So like this one isn't super directional, but I want to make sure that because you don't get very many border collies in Japanese dog prints. Eee, which way for the camera? Oh right, the phone's up here, Katie. No, I was like trying to show it to the laptop. Anyway, there's that, and then there's a beagle, and I wanted to get the Jack Russell facing up as well. Oh wait, it's upside down. No, okay. We are redoing that because I want that border collie going the right way. I'm like, it's going the right way. It's not going the right way, Katie. So I think, yeah, okay, so it's gonna be this way. Well, I hope that I installed the zipper correctly then, because that would be, yeah, there we go. Now we're good. I am glad I checked on that before I like turned it and was like, oh no. Yeah, there, now the border collie is going up the right direction, and there's actually a Westie up here, it looks like, or a Scotty, and then the Jack Russell is on the front in the right orientation as well, because now the zipper goes this way. And yes, typically I would focus on the French Bulldogs, but French Bulldogs get a lot of love in Japanese dog fabrics, so I want to highlight the other breeds instead. That's just where I'm at right now. Alright, some of these zippers will need to be trimmed down. I just realized I haven't done it on any of them, so I'll just take my shears up and I'll do that. That's fine. Easy enough to do. Alright, now the truck on this one was supposed to face up. Again, if it's not a super directional print, it would be fun if the truck faces up though. So that's what we'll aim for. If it doesn't happen, that's fine too. Okay, trimmed, 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 and trimmed, trimmed. Alright, I am very curious. How many of you guys are tuning in from the local area? Or are you tuning in from further out from Alberta? I know one of the watchers is me, so. Mostly because I just try to make sure that like everything's still broadcasting to YouTube without too much hassle. Okay, if we want the truck right side up, we need to do it this way. I'm just curious, because if you're going to be at Airdrie, please come say hi. Please give yourself some context when you introduce yourself. Like, I am XYZ off Instagram, or I watch you on YouTube. Because that is one weird thing about being on YouTube and stuff is people knowing you and you not knowing people. So, just give me some context, just so I'm not standing there like, I have never met you. And I will vastly appreciate it. It doesn't happen often, but yeah. There's sometimes those interactions with the pause of like, who are you? And it's like, I'm this person on Instagram. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I've interacted with you consistently. Awesome, Naomi. Perfect. I know I will see you on Saturday, which is awesome. Part of it is I know that my husband pops in and out sometimes, so it's like, okay, if he's the third watcher, then that's easy. But it's mostly a curiosity thing. I always am like, where are people from? How did they get here? We started up a separate running account because, of course, like, running content isn't super, it's not business oriented for me, really. It's like it's my active hobby. And Dallas keeps going, where are these people from? I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of the point, though, is it's a public account that anyone can follow. So, oh, there's blue trucks and there's red trucks. Okay, so with this one, we're gonna run with the blue trucks right side up, which will put the pink bike right side Awesome. I will take a look and I will let you know, and I'll set them aside and also prioritize them to make sure that I do actually finish them. Although I think so far we're only going to drop one bag, and that's because I couldn't find its zipper this morning. Although that ends up being it's one of the neon like flower bags, so if that's one of the ones you're looking for, I will make sure that it gets onto the sewing table tonight. But that's what I'm here for. You do not come to my booth to not be enabled. And right now you're basically in a virtual booth, even though it's like it's all stuff that's still getting made. So if anyone else is going to be in Airdrie, you can totally follow Naomi's example and pre-shop. And it's first come, first serve though. So make sure to get your Instagram messages in ASAP. I also encourage that at like Knit City and stuff though too, because it's like, especially because I'm traveling in, it's like then you don't have to pay shipping. Please don't pay shipping if you don't have to. I'm 100% down for you like pre-shopping. Typically, like when I didn't have kids, I also would do like a full, here's what I'm bringing to Knit City like podcast. So I think this summer I'm going to do that again because it usually worked really well. Maybe I'll do it for like all the events I'm going to be to. Excellent. I love when other people enable people. Actually, one of the coolest things I've seen with my bags is when I was in Vancouver 2 years ago. Yeah, when I was there with Tara, who's my friend, because Style stayed home with the kids. He just had eye surgery. That's why I'm like, why did he stay home with the kids? But he just had like laser eye surgery. Anyway, excuse me. A woman actually sat down beside me at the sushi restaurant across from the P&E, Blowfish, and she actually had one of my bags. It is like one of the best, like coolest things I'd ever seen. So I hope she was able to enable a few folks into like another bag as well. So this is where the directionality happens, but I keep talking about the obi, and in this case you can only see the back of it, and that's how you can kind of tell that these are Maiko as well, or apprentice geisha, is because the obi is very ornate compared to, as well as the kimono is very ornate as well. But this is the obi, and that will be wrapped around like your waist and to hold all the layers of the kimono together. There's a bunch of other ties and stuff underneath as well, but the obi basically covers all the structural, hopefully you don't have a wardrobe malfunction items that like have to hold the kimono together. I can't even like imagine though some days how heavy their kimono and obi get, because they are so ornate, and then they're walking around in the like really high gaita and everything like that too. It's just insane. All right, we're getting there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 more. So we'll see where we get. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I was saying earlier in the stream, but I don't think anyone was around, was that Airdrie was actually my last show in 2020 before we had kids, because it kind of went show and then everything shut down pretty much. So it'll be fun to go back to like a local event like this more. Actually, most of my events this year are locally based, except for potentially Peace Fiber Festival. So it's going to be nice to stay close to home. Although I am talking to Paula of Badanas about maybe coming out to do a pop-up out there, and I think that would be really fun. So we'll see if that works out. Yeah. You can tell when I'm concentrating because it's like I go silent. This is the wrong end of this one, I think. Okay, flip it. Zip it. know you want to. You already have once before. Come on. There we go. I don't know why that one was so hard, but alright. As long as it gets on there eventually. I do love this Cats and Strawberries fabric. I also really like the background on it. I don't know why, because it's kind of that like dusty, muted aqua. But I think what it is the contrast with the actual like red of the strawberries is amazing. So anyway, I will be back on tonight to stream. Basically, I am going to have a coffee with dinner, which is not something that I'd normally do right now, but I think for one night of show push, we're as acceptable to destroy my sleep cycle for one night. Considering that I've been actually pretty good about not doing that the rest of the week. So come join me for some like caffeinated late night shenanigans. Hopefully the kids go to sleep fairly early because at least the youngest napped, and they have typically dropped their nap. Yeah. We'll see how tonight goes. I am feeling pretty confident though. We've done really well actually, considering the amount of work that I forgot I had to do. It's like, get back and over, not that way, this way. Alice has to face upright. There we go, I got it this time. Yeah, considering that I came back and like Big Bags didn't even have the webbing cut yet, it's like, oh my goodness, we have done extremely well. Kato will be restocked after Airdrie, and then like I was just talking about, I'm gonna probably go in and re-prototype a purse. I really like my current purse, but the problem is with it is that my wallet doesn't fit in it, so it needs to be a little bit taller. And actually, I should base the height of the purse off the height or like length of the necessary clutch wallets. Although I am going to introduce the mini size of those because I think there'll be a little bit less work. There'll be less material. Well, they're not going to be much less work, but there will be less material. So they should be a little bit easier price point for folks as well. Plus, it's a lot of card slots. So really, if I make it smaller and only one set of card slots, in some ways it's actually more usable. Because I just saw a cell phone bag come out that would also be extremely cute. Plus I'm doing that one that's just like the accordion kind of opening. Although the intention for that one is like definitely a cell phone bag, but also more just an easy bag for like makers at markets so that they can keep their Square shop or Shopify or whatever in it, along with their phone and maybe a little bit of cash instead of always having to like have, where's the phone? Where, like, to have pockets basically. It's a pocket replacer. Because like I know I wear dresses to events and then I don't have pockets. And I don't want to wear an apron because the aesthetic is not there then. I say as I sit in my hoodie and sweatpants. The show aesthetic is not there. This is my like working aesthetic apparently. It's funny because it's like I'll drop the kids off at school and I'll just be in my work clothes, like, so yeah, so sweatpants, hoodie, whatever for the day sort of thing. Even in the summertime because it's like it's chilly down in the basement. Or it can be. Or I'll just look, I won't look put together. It's not grubby, I just won't look put together. And I picked them up one time and I had actually put a little bit of effort in, and one of the teachers was like, oh, you look nice today. And I'm like, thanks. And all I could think of is it's like because I actually put a little bit of effort into what I was wearing instead of just like showing up in my work clothes. Although these like sweatpant joggers are very comfy, so I might need to get another pair for the winter because then I can do a bit more rotation between the two. I think that was the day that I was probably dressed. I think I was dressed for Stampede or something like that. So yeah, I would have like had a Western shirt and skirt on or something like that, and so that would make sense. Hey, this stream is a low pressure environment for your clothing. but totally an enabling stream. You definitely need to buy bags. Help buy me another pair of sweatpants. No, that's fine. Actually, the good thing is that we did avoid probably the worst of the cold snap, so I have not had to invest in a space heater for my basement yet, which is a bit of a relief. They're not insanely expensive, but they are like more than I anticipated spending. So I've kind of been watching for them to go on sale. It might be something I ask for Christmas next year, actually, because there's some other things I need to buy for the studio first. As long as we don't go to like -50 again. If we go to -50 again, well, I might just be sewing in my snow pants. Who knows? The blinds will stay closed at that point. They're open right now because it's sunny, so I want to absorb as much of the solar heat as I can. And then once it starts going down, I'll actually close them up so that it gets trapped in here a little bit better. Come here. There we go. Okay, what time is it? Okay, got another half hour-ish. If it's not exact, it's fine, but I should make sure that dolls can get out of the house pretty on time. One more. This one's gonna work out really nice because that, like, this floral here, so this is the midpoint right here, is actually like it's really nicely spread across what's going to be the back of the bag, which I really like. Totally incidental. If I had fussy cut it, it wouldn't have worked this way, obviously. So sometimes not planning it is better than well, typically for me works out better than planning it, at least in the case for that sort of thing. Just a heads up too, there has been a restock on the cat paw scissors. They just came in. So they are currently on the website, but if you've been looking for a pair or have saw them last year and didn't get any, I will have a bunch. I think I have like 15 pairs of each color in Airdrie. So, but they have been extremely popular. So again, if that's something that you want me to set aside for you, I am happy to do so, because they are adorable. And every time someone like pulls the little cat paw scissors out and does a little like happy dance or squeal or something like that, it makes me super happy because they are, just makes me happy. It's like, yes, I know, they are amazing. And they will pair very well with the Notions pouches that I will work on after Airdrie. We're going to do a scrap bust week, I think is what we'll do. Well, kind of. We'll try to work on some scrap busting. Like I said, it's nice to do the scrap busting too because it's honestly a good way to add some variety into the booth, because like I've just gone through and cut all of these bags from these fabrics, and so that's what you're gonna see in the booth. But if I have scrap busting projects, it's good. It just adds variety and an eye break from the same prints over and over and over and over again. So Notions pouches will be good. Plus I need to clear out some bins. And then there'll probably be I think, well no, I've got plans for the scraps, that's right. I just gotta figure out if I can get a free motion embroidery foot on this machine, or if I need to use my domestic machine or not. And not a big deal either way, I just need to figure out which one I'm buying a foot for, basically. Because I'm pretty sure the domestic machine didn't come with an embroidery foot. But I have plans, and I am excited to like execute them. Hopefully, we'll see if it happens or not this year. I always have lots of plans. If they come to fruition in the time that I talk about, who knows? Although the stream is very motivating, and like it definitely keeps me very like head down just working on stuff, because obviously having someone observing what I'm doing means that I can't slack off very much. Eek. Not that I'm typically slacking off when I'm off stream either, but you know. Okay, there we go. This one, I think this is my favorite colorway of this print, with the like, I really like the teal background of it. And then she's going to be placed really well. They'll be on like kind of the bottom. And then you've got this one like right on the front, along with this one kind of on the side. Once everything's said and done, this is going to look particularly spectacular in a large box bag as well. So, which is cut, but that'll be sewn after Airdrie as well. Because again, running out of time. Has the internal screaming started? Actually, no, it's pretty calm right now. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sweet. So we will get these done before I need to go upstairs. And then I'll go through and I'll clip all of the twill tape in for the zipper pulls. I'll check your message, Naomi, because I'll actually have my phone to check it with. We can have a chat. See what I get done tonight. I hope the kids are more chill. We're also in like the throes of potty training the second. Potty training the first did not go easily, and potty training the second is going worse. I'm just like, oh my goodness. The eldest is not they're not out of night diapers yet, so that's fine. I'm fine with dealing with like a night diaper, but I am done dealing with day diapers if we can get it done. But it is not going easily. I think we might just have to like decide to tough it out and do like a week of just pants off. But I don't know yet. Although the youngest is starting to identify when they've used their diaper, so that I feel like is a very important step. Now we just need them to figure out that they need to tell us before they use their diaper that they need to go to use the potty. I'm just like, oh my god, it's gonna be interesting. Go. It smells like coffee down here, but I've drank all my coffee, so I don't know what's up with that. The spin studio we go to offers complimentary coffee now, and but it is such a taunt because you can typically smell it coming through the door as they're brewing it, like 30 minutes into your spin class. It's like, oh, I want that coffee. But you know, you still have like 15 minutes of hard work ahead of you, and it's like, no, coffee time. My hands were getting so much better when we were down in Florida, even though the humidity was not insanely better. It was definitely better than it is here, but now all the cracks are coming back. It's actually really bad this year. Oh my goodness. Okay. Lotion after I get this done. At least then, if I do it after I've got all these on, then the zip pulls won't be slippery. So, playing a juggling game with the zip pulls. The lotion I have down here was a gift from Adelknit in Osaka, and it is so good. It's not super greasy. It is a little bit, so like it wouldn't be fun to actually do it while I'm doing zip pulls, but it soaks in and like moisturizes so well. Okay, come on, get in. Come on, get in. This way because that's the direction of the print. Stop fighting. We're so close to the end. Just go on, please. Of course it would fight me like 4 bags from the end. There we go. Alright. navy zipper actually went into that bag. Like, color-wise, it like matches really nicely. Alright. That was wildly off-center. Alright. Not like I won't have to finesse them once I get them upstairs, but it was like, eek! Way over. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Yep, we're good. 3 bags, 3 zip pulls. That's how many we need. Get out here. Come on, threads. Also, if you're watching and you were a purchaser from Vogue Knitting Live or Virtual Knitting Live in like 21, thanks for sticking around with me. I noticed a lot of you repurchasing during the Boxing Week sale, and that just to me is like super cool, because it's like sometimes a lot of your effort is focused in on the sales for the actual show, and then you forget that sometimes people are return customers afterwards because they've bought something from you at a show and then they've enjoyed it. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone that stuck around. I appreciate new customers. I appreciate my returning customers especially too. But that was just kind of cool to see, because of course I don't have a lot of information on folks, but I do know when they've made like first purchases and stuff like that. It was just really cool to see the stats of like a lot of the Boxing Week purchases were actually people who had previously purchased around like a virtual knitting live event a couple years ago. So like almost 3 years ago actually now, because they would have all run in like, I think some of the last ones I did were in 21, so because it got to be too much with 2 itty bitties. There's definitely a couple of those VKLs where it was like, I had my eldest on my back and you're bouncing them around because out of house childcare was scary in some ways. So alright, we've got the crepe cats. This one worked really well with the handle actually, because it's got like the little sleepy crepe cat in it, and it is friggin' adorable. I will show it off when it's finished, but my god, it is adorable. It will be, well, most of them are like sleepy or like etc., but this is the one that's actually on the handle. So this one, and I think this one, and the little gray one as well, but particularly I tried to make sure this one for sure is on the handle, and it will remain on the handle. Make sure it's placed in such a fashion. There we go. Alright. Actually, those VKLs were really cool because, much like YouTube, you were able to like reach different people. I really enjoyed doing them because of that. It's like, because like even able-bodied and with disposable income, it takes a lot of money to get to events. And then you add in the factors of like any kind of barrier to that, and like actually attending a virtual show is way more accessible for way more people than an in-person show. The other benefit to me as a vendor, bluntly, is that people haven't had to spend a bunch of money to get to that event, to just then spend more money at like a marketplace or on classes or whatever. And because typically like these events are in like New York and like destination places, so you can't tell me that people aren't going and to go do New York as well. So personally, it made it very like affordable and accessible as well, because realistically, even for Knit City Vancouver, I can't justify going out and doing what I do without also vending. Like, there's no way I was gonna shell it out, basically, between hotels and flights and like all of that. It was just always kind of out of reach. Now it would be different now than it was when I was originally looking at it, but it is just the reality of it sometimes too. So the virtual events were really cool in the fact that like the audience was also very different from anything, because I won't be doing any shows out east really, because the access from Western Canada into Eastern Canada even is expensive, like the shipping of like display stuff, and then how do you get your stock out there, and like the logistics of it are just pretty nutty. And then going down into like the eastern state or into any of the US just creates a whole different kettle of legal loophole or legal holes that you gotta figure out too. So I should actually join some of those again, although I don't think they're as well attended as they once were. Maybe I should still do a couple because it was really cool. Alrighty, I have trimmed up and put zip pulls, and we are all turned, except the only thing I gotta do is I gotta trim down the zippers, but I can do that as I clip all of these bags now. I am going to head upstairs and see how the kiddos are doing, and this will give me a few minutes to just kind of like transition into being more mum than seamstress, sewist, or whatever you want to call us. But I will be back on tonight. The easiest way to find out when I will be back on is I will post a story to Instagram. I'm anticipating that it won't be until 8:30, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Just if you're in another time zone, it is currently 3:45 for me, so it's going to be about another 4 to 4.5 hours before I'm back on. In the best case scenario, basically I'll post an Instagram story right before I get on, or like with the 15-minute warning sort of thing. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic afternoon, dinner, whatever you're going to do this evening, and I hope to see you all back in a few hours. I'll chat with you soon.